we are
camera.
now.
Dude,
Yeah.
just tell me
now.
before you record. I'm doing my makeup. Okay, aloha. Good morning, everyone. I'm doing my makeup. Guys, it's a really funny thing because every year I have to somehow see it all differently once again. And if you knew my design deeply, it's all in there. But somehow I just got and really, Joan and I were working on this together. So it's like really, these pressure centers, in a way, they sort of get overlooked a lot of times. And if you really start to think about it, dude, everybody is under pressure all of the time. Whether this is defined or undefined, it's what we call stress and anxiety and all this stuff that, we're living in a compression mechanism. So, I mean, if you think of human design as really this simple, dude, it's two pressures pushing on you, trying to come out of the throat. And that's really the view that we came up with to start with, because everything else between those 2 points is just that. Everything else between those 2 points. And that you get it, whether it's a defined pressure or undefined pressure, it's there. And what we're going to look at today is how those things work. That more than anything, I really want you guys to get that there are 9 centers, and there are 4 views of those 9 centers. Okay, the keynotes will basically be similar, but they'll have a different quality to them. And this is something that I'm just really recommending. Anytime you get lost, you just really come back to this very simplified view, because it really will help you get the rest of the layers and layers we're going to be adding as we go along. That there are qualitative differences, pressures, awarenesses, motors, and voices. Now, a couple of these centers play multiple roles, so don't get confused by that. As the sacral it has an expressive voice, this rising up sound, but it's also a motor. And the root is a pressure center, but it's also a motor. So don't get confused. The solar plexus is an awareness center, but it's also a motor. So some centers do have multiple. That hopefully you guys get that. I explained it well enough last week that a totally open center is what we're looking at on the left here. An undefined center with a hanging gate, it starts to show you the tendency of where you will go when that open center is put under pressure. And then a defined center, it comes because 2 activations are there, and it fixes a life force. And then that's fixed birth to death. Okay, and that's what we're looking at. And guys, everything. I mean, that's why we're starting. Here's the top and the bottom, pushing everything to where? The throat. Everything is trying to get there. That we do have these 2 pressure centers is going to be the focus of our talk today, the top and the bottom. I thought of that, like whatever that, as below, as above, so below, or something kind of esoteric or something. And I'm going, oh my God, think how true that is. It really is. It's like, oh yeah, as above. Yeah, we're pressured from both sides. Great. That's very philosophical, And then awareness centers, whether it's fear in the now, the mental anxiety that comes over all time, or nervousness in a wave. I mean, it's funny that awareness centers, as if something great is coming from these things. And guys, that's the thing. I think somehow people miss that everybody has all of this. Everybody has every gate. Everybody has every channel. It's whether or not it's fixed in you or not. And which one you can rely on versus what you can't. I mean, we all have all of these fears, whether or not they're ours or not. That's a different story. And the one that I really want to get across to you is their fucking motors. Motors. Go sit, if you're a generator, or go sit on your car. What do you?
No, I'm sorry.
You're having
I'm
a
just
moment.
contemplating something new, but please go ahead. I apologize.
Dude, aren't we supposed to limit that while living? She's gone somewhere. That if you're a generator and don't understand what it feels like to be a projector, go sit on the hood of anything other than a Prius. Okay, go sit on the hood of a truck. Okay, I mean that's basically what it is to be a projector in a generator world. You know, it's very much there's energy. Okay, so we moved through that pretty good time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the head center. Okay, this is the center of, this is where all mental pressure comes from. Now, the head center is very different than all the other centers in this way. The only thing it can be connected to is the ajna. Okay, so it's a pressure to conceptualize. Now, whether or not you have the ajna defined or not makes no difference. And think about this, guys. Really think about it. 71% of the planet, 70% of you perhaps, but 70% of the planet at least, there's nothing there. They're thinking about shit that does not matter, has no place being involved in their life. And what does this mental pressure bring? Whether it's defined or not, it brings confusion, mystery, or doubt. You know, confusion about why, mystery, but why, and doubt about what's going to be the future. Um, and the only place, again, it can be, this is a very different configuration than anywhere else in the body graph, is that it can only go to the processing unit, which would be the ajna. Now, the defined head center. Okay. Oh, it must be so nice to have a defined head center. Yes, yes, yes. It's great for everybody other than me. Okay. For me, it's a fucking torture chamber. Okay. The thing never shuts up. It's defined in one specific direction. Mine happens to be confusion about the past with some other little flavors in there. But it's a defined pressure to think, comprehend, understand past, knowing the now, or future. Okay, that's what a defined head center is. And again, most of you don't have it, and most of you are thinking about shit that has nothing to do with your life. And just because mine's defined doesn't mean mine's doing anything useful. It is truly a torture chamber, and it is useless to except for here when I might be able to inspire someone else. For me, in my life. So we get to the unhealthy defined head center. I mean, it turns mental pressure in on themselves, deep anxiety, self-doubt, and depression from the mental plane. I mean, it is, when this thing starts beating me up, it's, sometimes I just got to let it run. And sometimes it doesn't really run out very quick. But it attempts to resolve pressure through action, making decisions, making mental decisions. It's what we call the not self mind. Okay, so my defined head center in an unhealthy state is, would push me into some sort of action. Your head center in any state could push you into some sort of action. Don't let it do that. See, in the healthy state, you get to sort of know it's moving. I do sort of get it's moving. It is looking at all the possibilities. It is looking at all the potentials. But it has its own little trip. It's like, my mind could be considered emotional. And I'm just giving you this example, like, where mind, I get to almost watch it go through this emotional way of process. The trick, guys, is just to really not do anything about it and understand that. That's what's going on. It's like, no, you have a very defined mental process. And if you have a defined head center, it's only defined, again, to one place, the ajna, how you process information. Is it confusion? Is it doubt? And can you sit through the confusion and doubt until there's some clarity about your own mental process? But the whole trick is you do not act from the mind. Nobody is here to act in that sense from the mind. So we go over to the open head center because this is the overwhelming number of the world, right? 70% of the world open, you know, lost with questions and ideas and all sorts of things that are flying through your head that actually have nothing to do with it. If you have this, oh, who put these thoughts in? Who put these thoughts in? Why am I thinking about this? I mean, these could be some good questions, you know. You really can get lost thinking about things that have absolutely nothing to do with you. And the mental pressure is not going anywhere, guys. Please understand that. The mental pressure is not going anywhere. It's your ability to lock yourself to your form, to relax, and let your body make the decisions about the life rather than your mind. Okay? And it's a funny thing because I meet so many open head centers in the world, right? And dude, they are. I mean, I'm amazed at the questions. It's like, how did you even find that question? Much less, why are you trying to resolve it? This thing of really just being lost in some mental trip that actually has nothing to do with you contemplating, researching, and it's one of the dangers of human design. I mean, this thing is a bucket with holes in it, guys. I don't care how much information you put in there. It's just running out the bottom. And the real wisdom here is, hey, I don't need to know, right? I don't need to know. And you get to that place of none of this matters. It's not mine. So you get to this healthy, undefined head center, and it really is wise about whether or not the questions, ideas, perspectives of the world of the defined head centers are of any value. So, on one side I can make fun of the open head centers. On the other side, when they actually come and they dig my trip, I'm like, oh, that's cool. They really get, they're getting that I actually do bring some sense of inspiration into their process. And again, guys, I can only talk from my perspective. So each of you will have this at the end. But you're really here to sit back and enjoy what comes through your mental process. You're not here to get lost and all that stuff, okay? And that you can really just let it be like a river, running through there. And if something's worth dealing with, your body and not your mind will be making that decision. It's like, some of you are like, oh, summer's starting today and all of this stuff. It's like, I don't want to come inside. Well, don't. don't. Don't let your mind drag you inside. And, or you have something else to do or whatever. That's why, I'm so on it. Please don't come unless it's correct. So again, guys, we're starting this, at the beginning here with this head center. 4 different views. Defined, right? Defined mental pressure. It turns the mental pressure in on yourself. You try to move it into action. You do shit that you shouldn't from the mind. That's the unhealthy. I pressure people to think that they should think like I should think, which is a really funny thing to have going on in human design. You should think like I should. You should do it like I should do it. Really? No. No, no, no. I'm pretty sure that's not right. I'm having a Satori. Bullshit. My great Satoris. Um, and then on the other side, the healthy, it's like, dude, it is really like it's a little character. I watch the tide come in, I watch the tide go out. It gives me a very deep appreciation for the emotional process. Again, my particular definition. I'm not saying having a defined head center it's my particular definition because it is part of that whole emotional stream. Really does help me, understand in a way that from a mental place, what the emotional people, what that letting that tide come in and out must be like. But it's so different than, somebody that's logical and it's just, here's the facts, ma'am, 1, 2, 3, 4. My mind is all over the place. So, and to see that it will resolve itself if I just leave it alone, right? on the undefined plane, and guys, look, the people that are sucking up the most human design information with the straw, and I mean, I'm only saying this because it's such a huge, vast system that you can just go and go and go forever in it. And, again, if your body's bringing you there, it's great. It's for you. That's exactly what's happening. But so many people, again, because of how do we learn anything? Think of this undefined head center. How do we learn anything? You go to school, you take your classes, you mentally get it together, right? And you get in this undefined place, you just get lost, with questions that have nothing to do for you. And I need to research that and all this stuff. But on the healthy side, I mean, it really is, open to the wonder of the unknown. It's like, wow, these are my questions. I don't need to deal with this pressure. Wow, it's really having a bad day, but you get to see it like it's an entity now. And we all have both, guys. We all have pressure. Okay. And that's more than anything what I want to get across to you is like it's not the configuration doesn't matter. In humans, what you're going to start to see is we all have all of this. It's whether or not we can trust it or not, and which ones are pulling you off your course. So, again, 70% of you are sitting there thinking about shit that has nothing to do with you. It does not matter to your life. That should be a real Zen stick for some of you, okay? Every time you realize you got this with the open head centers, just see me standing there with a stick, okay? Like every time you're getting lost off in that thing. No, a lot of people have said that they do when they start getting lost in their head, that they somehow see me there with a stick, like the kung fu teacher, to hit them on the head, like the old Zen guys. All right. So the head center. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did I miss anything? Okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Nothing you're aware of.
But you see mine's open, so I don't know.
Yeah. It could have come and gone. You would know. Yeah, and you guys are. And I'm leaving the chat open, guys, on purpose, so you can write in. The first couple of weeks, I didn't want people, Okay. For our very formal video series, I will now begin. The root center. Guys, this is a center of physical pressure, stress, and individual pace. Guys, all of those keynotes can be used in all four directions, okay? If you've got, you've got a fixed pace, or you've got, you're being put under pressure to move at other people's pace. Either way, you have your pace, right? And, because that individual pace always kind of goes to the defined route. And it's like, no, dude, if you've got an open route, you've got your own pace too. You're not here to be moving out of all of that pressure. And, 40% of the population is open. So 40% of the, you got 70%, head pressure from the bottom, 40% root pressure from, not theirs, open from the bottom. But all of us, again, living in a pressure sandwich. We both, whether you've defined or not, these pressures are pushing down on you, trying to come out the throat. Everything in between those 2 points is just that. Everything in between those 2 points. Repetition somehow seems to work. But you really get it. There's a compression, all of the things in the body graph trying to come out the throat. And, in whether defined or not, a healthy root center, open or not, individual pace and what is correct to do or not do, right? It's really that simple, is that you get to that place where you understand what the pressure's doing to you, defined or not, and in an unhealthy way, and I've certainly been here, even as a defined route, pushing to get things done, but that's really generally what we see with these open route people, right? Hurry, gotta get it done, gotta get it done. It's like, what the hell? Like our, like the little pop-up toaster. Like, they just pop up, dude, it's funny. And I feel it coming. So an unhealthy defined root pressures others, incorrectly, and doesn't discharge its energy or stress correctly. It's what happens. because it is a physical pressure. I know I'm living with this physical pressure. My physical pressure is all about challenging the world. And, it's always there. But if I let it move me into action, I'm lost. And really, in this unhealthy state, it's not just pushing me, but it's pushing those people around me. And, that's when I get to acknowledge you because you haven't, you're not really good. I mean, I could maybe move you a little, but not so much. Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, I mean, then, but we feel it. It gets off
feel it.
frequency, and it's like, it's like I feel it too, and I'm like, wow, man. Sometimes I even watch myself on here, and I'm like, God, I am a dick. I don't mean to be. you know. It's just this cutting, always correcting, insatiable drive. But I mean, if you've got a defined root center, dude, you have a very fixed pressure to do something. And if that fixed pressure isn't given some healthy outlets, like I'm really enjoying hiking all of a sudden instead of mountain biking. I don't know what that switch was about, but just something that's a good way to get pressure out. It's not dangerous to the rest of the world and myself. And the healthy defined root, and this is really where, I mean, I see it because you're not going to move me. I go at the pace that's good for me, when it's good for me. I mean, it's funny, my friend. It's like, it'll take, if I'm walking out the door right now, that means somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes from now. Every now and then it means 5, but right now is a relative term to a defined root. Oh yeah, I'm coming. But it has its own way. If you have a defined root and it's healthy, you have it has a way of processing and releasing this pressure. You have a defined way of that working. It's either here to be respond or initiated or out of invitation, but you really get to release that pressure by doing what's correct for you. And that's like what I'm doing now. This is a very creative moment in time where I get to just let go and jump off the cliff and kind of take this this skydive where this energy is just flowing out of me. And we're going to get to the throat center in a second and look at that. But to understand that we all have this pressure going on, guys. It's whether or not it's yours and whether or not you have any business listening to it. Just because I have a defined root center doesn't mean that I should be going all day trying to take care of it, doing everything it feels that I should be doing. It's not. It's exactly the opposite. And of course, the open root dilemma, right? Hurry, hurry, hurry. Are you still in a hurry to be free of the pressure or whatever the keynote this year is? Because they keep reworking the standardized keynotes. So are you under pressure to be free? Are you still in a hurry to be free of the pressure? You guys get it. It's the open root dilemma. And, this is one of those places, guys, it's the openness. Always pound them in the openness. I mean, I know a lot of you are taking this in to use this information with your friends and so forth. And it's like, and those of you, going on to really become certified guides, etc. But, with an open root, the body doesn't work well under pressure. It really distorts the frequency and makes everything really tweaky. The definition that is there doesn't get expressed cleanly out of that frantic frequency. And then what's happening? It's, the head, the root is pushing up, the head is pushing down. And then what do you say? Okay, I'll do it. I'll be right there. I'll take care of it. I mean, all of these things, again, defined or not. The open root dilemma. Dude, are you still in a hurry to get things done? And just see it. And then giggle at yourself because it's really not that big a deal. See, so much time I spend with people, they're going, I'm giving into the pressure or I feel the pressure. And I'm like, yeah, you know what that's called? That's called awareness. That's called intelligence. That's called becoming aligned with your frequency and understanding. Yeah, maybe you still give into it. yeah, maybe I still don't shut up when I should, but at least I know it. We'll go with that's enlightenment.
Stupid before, stupid
Yes,
after.
yeah, stupid before,
Yeah.
stupid all the time. You want to let her in?
Mhm.
Yeah. The other side that hardly ever gets talked about, or I've heard a lot less talk about, is that the open root also freezes under pressure. I mean, this is like what you would call like stage fright. So, I mean, it just locks up. It just there's so much pressure you can't deal with it. And again, I don't think that there's enough emphasis put on these pressure centers, or at least they seem to be things that that get jumped over. Kind of quickly. Why? To get further along. It's like, no, guys, get it. Pressure coming out the throat. I have two defined pressure centers with a totally open throat. I would think that I'm in a unique position to talk about this. And we'll get to the throat here in a second. Uh, because if I did let the pressure from my root or my head essentially manifest in the world, I mean, there'd be no end to it. It would just keep going and going.
I also see for myself just
Mhm.
the, when we do keynoting,
Mhm.
we look at the other open centers, it always is pressure to mental pressure, physical pressure to whatever is open.
Right.
And it's like it's like this, it's part of what makes, okay, yeah. Is that enough? Sorry, I got
I
lost.
do you know what you're saying?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Do you want to try again?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's just say an open ego.
Okay.
Okay.
Under pressure.
Under pressure, I have open head, I have an open root.
Right.
Right. So the open ego, if it's getting triggered, if I need to prove myself, it's like it's an add-on pressure. It just increases, or the open,
Right.
whatever else is open.
Yeah.
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 That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. And I have defined pressures.
Uh-huh.
Do you think
Right.
it's any different?
I thought it might be. Am I wrong?
Well, mine's just a
Yeah.
consistent pressure.
Okay. Yeah.
Mine's a consistent pressure to prove
Okay.
myself.
Okay.
You have an inconsistent pressure to prove
Mhm.
yourself. I mean, now,
Okay,
now, I
that's
mean,
good.
dude, we're off into a different lecture, but
But
yeah,
that's good though.
but yeah, people, yeah, they jump right over the pressure centers.
Mhm.
I get it. Yeah. And yeah, that understand that there is this other side where the adrenal thing is just so, it's just like shit, you can't take it. In the healthy open root. Guys, we're all in free fall. Yeah. And you're welcome. Yeah, I'm glad I brought it up too. Um, the open root wisdom is awareness that pressure never goes away. You know, you just quit acting on it and you relax into the free fall of, okay, I'm under pressure. You know what to do. It's like, okay, it's like thinking that there's ever going to be a time when I don't feel the emotional poison of another being that's trying to lay their trip on me if they're all coming at me with some emotional thing. It ain't going away. I mean, this is one of the things that I need to rearrange the human design brochure a bit. I keep joking about this was not in the brochure. Okay. You just quit acting on it. And the reality is, it is. I mean, if you listen to the Bra, he never got off point. He never got off message. It's the not self mind. It's not going anywhere. Your not self mind, if you've got an open root, is going to be all about why, how quickly you can do and get things done. That's it. And you get to see that, and you get to experience that as a physical pressure and not let it. So again, guys, 4 views. Stress, adrenal, fuel. These are the keynoting exercises that I'm hoping, we'll get to in the forums and so forth. But to really start to see any of these, physical pressure, et cetera, fuel for stress, for under pressure to, whether or not you're defined or undefined, in an unhealthy state, you're trying to push yourself and others with that root power, just pushing, pushing, pushing to make things happen or get shit done or make decisions. And then, in a healthy way, it's like, yeah, I'm always under pressure to challenge something. I mean, that pressure doesn't go away. It's what I get invited into as a projector. What I get invited into, is where, or and I can even say in some situations, what I react to, not that, emotional reactiveness that you talk about, but, I would say response, except that we can't use that word because it's for the generator. But life, I'm reacting to life. All of a sudden, no, there's a challenge and I'm there. That fuel kicks in. It's not like somebody has to invite me to defend myself, let's say, with my configuration, because I've got this constant and consistent fuel to be healthy to my spleen. It goes right to my spleen. But it's all about not like going out there and looking for fights, in a way. You've got that lost expression on your face. Okay. And then on the undefined side, are you still are you still in a hurry to get things done, to get rid of the pressure? I mean, it's just one of these places, guys. This is what passenger consciousness is. You just take a step back and go, okay, is this happening? Not can I fix it today? Not can I get over it, make it better, do something about it. No. Can you fucking see it? That's passenger consciousness, guys. And I want to be the one guy that's always being honest with you. It's like that's as far as I see passenger consciousness goes. It's knowing how helplessly silly and stupid we are and getting comfortable with it. And then in the healthy, just letting just letting the pressures come through. Just letting that pressure come through, but it doesn't move you. And you could be in a blizzard of shit, but you don't let the open route push you. And hopefully you guys are really getting, there's 4 views. Every center, 4 views. This is enough for you to really help someone with their life. But you got to get it. And you got to get it, not that you can, write down a couple of things on it, but every chart you look at, start by stringing what's there and what's not there together. Okay? Just look at that. Start just to see there first. I mean, Joan even has said to me, it's hard for her to do that now because she knows more. I agree. I'm trying to get you while you know less. Because this could be a good place to go back to every time. And if you know this well, it is the simplest and easiest way to explain it to someone else. And since I'm collective and have this overriding need to share all this, I suggest you get good at it. But that's only my suggestion. Yeah, before we go on to the root center, I saw that both Hanalei said something about the freezing up thing, and hey, Ruby's like, the freezing up sucks. Yeah, I bet it does. But what is it now? It's awareness. That's what it is now, Ruby. It's not, it sucks. It's like, oh, I'm completely locked up. Yeah. So good for you. Yeah, seeing it. Okay. So the throat center. Having a completely undefined throat, and I do mean completely, which is a strange configuration with that many gates going to the throat. Everything in the body graph is trying to get to the throat center for expression and manifestation. Okay. This is the hub of all the messages coming from the body graph. I mean, this is where they're all trying to find for expression, communication, and when we say in human design, manifestation. Okay. Manifestation for us really is not only the something consistent coming out of the throat in essence, but in a deeper sense, when we get to talking about the manifester, it's actually a motor to the throat, which changes the aura type into a much more dense aura. So that motor is saying, I can do it, rather than like, the G or my, undefined. Oh, I'm going to do it. Anybody that believes anything I say should be should be silly questioning yourself. You know, there's a reason that everything's a pay as you go around here type thing. Uh, I have no will, and I have no consistent way to say I can promise I can do anything. I love teaching human design. I enjoy sharing it, and yes, that comes with um, a lot of attention. Not all of it good because I've kind of got my own trip with human design. But regardless, it is what it is. You know, I show up. Um, but it also having that totally open configuration also lends this other potential is like I can really hear who's speaking bullshit or not. I mean, it just and when you see the genetic continuity in my design of how many things are like, no, 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 it's like what a pesky little creature I am. But having that open throat center, I mean, it's like I can just hear that's true, that's bullshit, that's true, that's bullshit. And yes, there's 100 other places in my design, but it's very much a potential I have. And that's why I'm really good at grabbing you guys and holding you there in that frequency. And it's funny because Joan's starting to see that more and more, that that is really what I do. I have to reach out and grab people while they're just spinning like hurricanes. It's an interesting thing that goes on with my little character in the movie. Anyway, so the whole sit down and shut up. Okay, guys, I know you all have thought that that was exclusive to the projector because those were my people, and I felt that I could actually say that to them, right? They can get mad at me, they can't really hurt me. What are they going to throw an arrow? I'll just throw one back. You know, generators and everyone else, yeah, they could run over me, manifest or bat me out of the way. I mean, it's, but no, I mean, since you're here and obviously interested, no, guys, shut up. Don't say you're going to do anything. Don't commit to anything until you're really clear in the body. I mean, it's not about being put under pressure to have to make decisions in the now. Even if you're new to design, if you're new, even if you're new to experimenting with your body's awareness and consciousness and trying to align the form and space, look, just shut up. You have no idea how much trouble you guys are getting yourselves into. And, uh, and and how lucky I was trained at a very young age by real men with sticks that would hit me on the head for talking or moving when I wasn't supposed to. That early martial arts training, it just keeps coming back, man, because I don't have any energy other than a dart, or an arrow, and it's got to really be invited. So there's not a lot of situations where I get to just talk like this, guys, but everybody gets caught up trying to direct their lives. You think you know what would be good or better for you, and then you say you're going to do it, and your mind's, your not self mind is fueling this expression and this need to get it out and all of this stuff. It really is, mind or your aura mechanics, your strategy, and an internal authority. Even if that's mental and you've got to step back and work it out. But guys, if you're unclear for now, just shut up. I mean, you can talk over coffee about the weather and whatever bullshit you want. Just don't do anything or say you're going to do anything with your life. That is initiating. And unless you're a manifester that's been pushed there and must do it, because that's the only time a manifester can do it, just shut up. If you say you do it, people then expect you to do it, and rightfully so. The not self-defined throat thinks words are important. They do. They think what they have to say is really important, and then we need to hear it. And a lot of times they'll have energy behind that. They'll have generators, manifesting. I mean, it's like, there is an energy behind. Not always. I mean, a lot of configurations, obviously, there's no energy behind that throat connection, but it can really damage the lymphatic system. And wait, not lymphatic, but
Thyroid?
yeah, thyroid. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's a couple other. We're not in that section. I
Mhm.
forget. How about it
Maybe.
damages the body?
Mhm.
Yeah. I love it when I get lost. Dude, I just did it. Where am I? Oh, I'm in rave cartography. We're still at the beginning of LY. Okay. uh, but it really damages the body because it's not only just that, the motors and stuff going to the throat, it's that you keep putting yourself in situations that are not correct for you. Okay. So be careful and know that you really do have a unique expression, a life force that you're here to bring. Again, once you're centered in your aura and it's being invited or you're responding or whatever your process is to bring that information forward, it can be a really beautiful thing. I like this guy. This guy is a guy, this is a guy that I can work with. He looks a bit mad, yet he might be onto something. Something tells me he's onto something. But yeah, I mean, as a defined throat, there'd be a very fixed way, and whether or not that's, some sort of crazy math or philosophy on the background doesn't matter to me at all. It's got like the Chinese writing, but I'm pretty sure those are some numbers under there, 100, so
Mhm.
we're not clear exactly what's going on here. That could be A equals B squared or something in Chinese, right? I love that. Unfortunately, somebody might know. But uh, that through strategy and authority, I mean, these defined throat configurations, you have a really consistent thing you can put out in the world. You know, that's something I'll never have, man. There's nothing consistent, you know, but let it shine. Now, with the open throat, think of it, guys. There is no consistent access to expression and manifestation for energies in the body graph. None. None. And again, my throat completely open. All these things pointing at it. Pressure coming down and pressure coming up constantly. We live in a world that wants you to say things and then do them, and that's why it's hard. But once my body says I'm going to do something, I mean it's people know it gets really intense. But this is where I'm joking. It was really good that I was hit with sticks by real men that took integrity and honor and that whole martial system very much. And I don't mean that they beat me and hurt me. I mean that I didn't really have the family thing growing up. So I resonated to this martial way of life and training myself like that. And that there was a certain code of conduct there that was not necessarily human design, but helps me deeply in my human design. Because if I let this thing do what it wanted to and say what it wanted to when I wanted to, I'd be in a lot more trouble than I am now. And certainly some of the actions the body would have had me take, could have, well, I could have probably gotten in even more trouble from those. It really is just getting comfortable, guys. And this open throat thing, it's like, yeah, I can have the wisdom of being able to say all these different things in so many different ways. I can really, especially one on one, lock onto someone and I can say it in a way. I don't know how that works, but I say the same thing 1,000 different ways so that, that one person can get that one point. It's something that the lecturing thing, I'm jumping off into this collective expression, it's just whatever's coming out. It's a very different thing than actually tuning in and then finding that right voice that it's the way they need to hear it. And that's my gift as an open throat. But the pressure to say you're going to do something, and then again with the open ego, trying to back that up and all that nonsense. Jesus. And then the open throat, not self question. Am I still trying to get attention? Now look, I know that is someone named Marilyn Monroe, and this is some other chick that everybody's supposed to, the Gaga chick. This is actually the first pictures I've ever seen of her that I know of. I maybe there was a billboard LAX or something. I don't know. But, am I trying to attract attention? Am I doing things to try to get attention? This is the not self open throne, guys. I mean, it's this not self place, dude. That I mean, I can see that. I mean, think of the throat. It wants to manifest. It's got all this energy pushing up. It can say, and chemically, an open throat is already attracting attention. And I'm a projector. I'm already getting recognized. I don't need to go out there and try to get people to hear me. In fact, I probably don't need to start deleting people off my mail list, but that's manifesting too. I mean, guys, you have no idea how many ways manifestation takes place. But if I was to say to you that those thoughts don't go through my not self mind, I'd be lying to you. Just like the thoughts of insecurity and avoiding emotional conflict and all of my openness and all my not self dilemmas, they all go through my mind. It's just whether or not you open your mouth and let it move you into action. I suggest you don't. Yeah. Through strategy and authority, the correct attention finds them, knowing what attention is worth getting. And I realized on the other slide, I did the open throat when it was we were on the defined area. Oh, well. I got confused about Yeah, they have a dam to hold it back. Dude. Now I've ruined the whole presentation. See?
Got me messed up. I think it was good. I think you were fine.
Okay, yeah. This is where I wanted to joke about, that it's really good that people held sticks over my head when I was a kid, and when I'm invited, yeah, I mean, it is fun to do this, guys. All this energy, inspiration from my mind, it's all here. Correction, madness, humor, it's all here. But if I even began to think about what I was going to say, I'd be lost as a projector. I'd be lost as an open throat. It really has to be that moment of invitation, so that you get to relax and use the energy correctly and the voice that's there for you correctly, not in this over pressurized da-da-da-da-da thing. When I get nervous, I can hear it. It's like there's a switch in my frequency from what is, this is still kind of a madness, whatever. I mean, I know that's my frequency, but there's just this slight tilt where it's like there's a push in it. And it's when that push is happening, I can hear it. It's like I call it I'm going into my pretend manifestor frequency. It's like, no, and I feel it. It's not always in the moment, especially when I'm nervous, do I get it? But it does still occur. So again, guys, it's okay to call yourself on your own bullshit. It's not you're doing it wrong. It's not you're failing in your human design experiment. It really is. Hey, I'm becoming aware of all of these pressures and how they're working in the body and how I'm working with them. That's what we're doing, guys. That's why you're here. Okay? So, because so many of you, again, 70% will be open egos, and I'm not doing it right, and I'm not getting there fast enough. Open roots, and then if I don't make some goals, I'm gonna die. Open head, Jesus. But yeah, to just kind of let it flow is a fun trip. And 30% of the world is open. 28%. So in the defined, are you in an unhealthy? Are you impulsive with your words or actions? Boom. Trying to put energy into the world in a way that's basically trying to manifest or make something happen or say you're going to do it. In a healthy way, you're just there expressing the unique expression that's there in your body graph. Whatever that is, an individual, tribal, or collective expression, it's there. Or even integration. I am myself now. It's there. But on the undefined center, the unhealthy, are you still trying to get attention? Yielding to the pressure to talk or act, you know? For me, the pressure to talk is not a problem. It's like, as long as there's someone good to talk to. What sucks is, dude, the few times I get myself in situations where it doesn't happen that much anymore, so I forget what a trip this must be for you guys. As I'm not really in that many situations where people don't want to hear what I have to say. But that's been a 14-year journey, you know? I mean, that didn't happen. And when it does happen, it's a shock. It's like, oh shit, I'm not used to this, you know? And then I usually have to go vomit, get it out. I'm a projector, you know. That's a whole process too. But in a healthy, I know that I'm getting the right attention. I know that the right people are coming for me. It's why I'm so militant and vigilant about making sure I only have the right people. I don't want to be talking to people and I'm not just trying to get the information out. And I don't trust you to just take this and apply it to your life and have it work overnight. It didn't work for me that way, you know. If I'd gone to a weekend lecture on something and then called that, okay, now I know circuitry or now I know living design. Dude, it's been years of study and you guys are getting both the gift and the curse of my very organic approach, because this is the dojo and this is where you're gonna learn. Really, if you're gonna be here and train, you're gonna learn step by step, as not logical as I am, how this all works. And so I only want to work with those people so that at the end of it, I can either say, look, I know that they did their best and I did my best, or they really have gotten something, which is 90% of the people I work with, right? Or I just don't work with them. But I can't just put the information out there and let you guys walk out the door. I can't just do a 2-day lecture every weekend, and I can't do that. There's something insatiable in my design that says that I'm here to, help you really be like the martial arts instructor of human design. It's just my trip, and we're not going anywhere. And so many people sign up and want to sign up or do sign up, and then what they really just want is a card that says that they can do something, and I'm not that guy. Yeah, you'll get a card, but only what you've really gotten from. Okay. Free of the pressure. Free of the pressure. And I made it in an hour.
Yeah, that's that.
Less than an hour. Yeah. So there's the aloha, guys. Yeah. That's funny that I can talk about the projector for an hour and 40 and I get through those three. Yeah. I thought it was going to be longer. All right.